JJ Reddick. Ooh, we got an update for you guys to the Los Angeles Lakers. A legendary shooter for LeBron James' new team. Oh boy, let's talk about it. Hey, the Los Angeles Lakers did a great job retooling the roster around LeBron James, Anthony Davis, after falling in the first round of the playoff season last year. Yeah, though there is still one concern surrounding the team, and it has to be whether or not they added enough shooting. Even though the Lakers added a few players that are coming off of seasons in which they shot the ball at 40% from the three-point range, hey, there isn't one team in the league that couldn't have enough shooting on their roster, especially the way the NBA has evolved over the past few seasons. Yes, sir, for a team that is coming off a season in which they were at the bottom third in the league in three-point shooting, it was important that the Lakers added enough three-point shooters in preparation for the new season. So, did they add enough? I think the answer is no. And you ask who? If the Lakers are looking for a player they could add via free agency, hey, the best option is JJ Reddick. Even though he's certainly past the prime of his career, but you'd have to imagine that he's still a player that could play a role on a contender. So the question should be why? Shouldn't the Los Angeles Lakers sign JJ Reddick? How can you not sign JJ? He could be the finishing piece for the Lakers. They could also use him to revamp the roster. In my opinion, it will be the tastiest icing on the cake. A player like JJ Reddick will fit in perfectly. Hey, he will add another dimension to the team. Hey, JJ Reddick is one of those type of players that you can't help but to love. He always seems to bring a hard-working and positive attitude to whatever team he's on. Far from being a selfish player, Reddick is always giving his all and playing hard. Me and JJ Reddick played on the same USA 19 and under team. Yes, sir, I saw his work ethic. My guy, JJ. Yes, sir, he's a well-balanced journeyman with years of experience. But JJ Reddick is at a point in his career. For him to play on the top NBA team on a championship run, hey, it will be perfect for him. And it will be a very impressive playing career. Reddick is quite the cerebral player. We have seen during his time in the NBA, hey, he's always been a pretty smart player. And he's always figured out his role on every team he's played for. He can shoot the long ball, he's a very good passer, and a solid all-around player. Reddick hustles, which is also impressive to watch in today's NBA game. And at time, that aspect is pretty much left behind, so it's refreshing to see a guy like that who can still dive on the floor for loose balls and play his role and play hard for any team that he's on. Hey, he's made 41.5% of his three-pointers during his career, and he has been consistent as one of the best NBA three-point shooters for over a decade. His family is on the East Coast, so he could, want to be close to them as his career finishes up. However, the allure of winning an NBA championship could be stronger than the allure of being close to the family. JJ Reddick has always had a reputation as a good long-distance shooter. The 2020-2021 NBA season hasn't been the best look for JJ Reddick, and he struggled with injuries during his time with the Dallas Mavericks after his acquisition from the New Orleans Pelicans. However, during the 2019-20 NBA season, Reddick averaged 15.3 points per game while shooting that ball 45 from deep behind the arc. Yes, sir, with 40% from three-point range, and he still has a lot in the tank. I believe he has a lot in the tank, especially suiting up next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Ooh, it would be great to see JJ Reddick on a well-stacked and talented Los Angeles roster. Yeah, he can still start if needed, but he will probably be better as a six-man role coming off of the bench. Hey, Reddick would have no problem playing within the Lakers system. I think that he would be a player that others would love to play with. I certainly did. I enjoy playing against JJ Reddick and with him. That's my guy. Hey, he will be one of those type of players that will come off of the bench, provide a spark for the team when it need to be so, or the type that could put the dagger in an opposing team's heart. Yes, sir, Reddick could handle the ball in the front court as well. And don't sleep, he has pretty quick feet as well. Yes, sir, the Lakers could use a player that could push the ball up the court and down, especially after Alex Caruso dipped for Chicago. He is also great at coming off of screens, yes sir, and shooting a deep ball. Yes sir, they could use another shooter at this point, to be quite honest. Reddick is one of the many 2-1 players that can play a role for the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, this will only benefit them as well, as they already have a few that fit that mold. But you can never have enough shooting, no. Now why? The Lakers are the 6th worst three-point shooting team in the league. The Lakers are desperate to improve their three-point shooting, ranking at 25th in the NBA at just 35.1% per game. But the New Orleans Pelicans would need to get something in return for JJ Reddick if they were to consider releasing the guard. Now the Lakers Enter JJ Reddick. Ooh, yes, sir. That would be a perfect fit for the Lake Show with the most glaring weakness. But LA has to hope that another contender does not make an attractive offer for the veteran shooter. Reddick has a $13 million salary in 2021, the final season of his 2-year deal at $26.5 million contract. He signed back with the Pelicans in 2019. Here's LeBron James on the Lakers' three-point shooting slumpers. Hey, we have to make shots from the perimeter. Hey, end quote. No one knows the Lakers shooting better than the players themselves. After the Lakers' blowout loss to the Jazz, LeBron James agreed that the team needs to regain their shooting touch. But of course, he does not want his teammates to put too much pressure on themselves to rectify the situation. So in conclusion, the Pelicans would like to ship JJ Reddick for some value, as he's getting older and he's not a part of their future plans. He could, however, be a valuable floor spacer for the Lakers though, especially with LeBron James and AD. Hey, it probably wouldn't take the Lakers much to get him though, just a draft pick and some low bench players. So, should the Lakers trade for him?